Hello, 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 hello. How's everyone doing? Hi, guys. How is everyone on this Monday? Goodness, it's been a little bit since we've been doing a webinar, but I'm excited to be back with you guys. So for just a minute, let's see if we can get some people in here. Let me just start off by saying hello, and I want y'all to say hello to us. Say hi in the chat box. Kelly, who is basically the glue that holds Zimmerman together, she is here. She normally is in Florida, working remotely, but she's actually here in the studio in the room next door, and she is in the chat room, and she is going to answer any questions that I don't see or can't get to. It's really hard for me to look at the chat room and teach at the same time, but she's going to take really, really good care of you guys, and then at the end, we're going to do a little live Q&A. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I would love to know if we have new people here. Are you like a first timer? Is this your first time to be at one of my webinars, or are you a bloomer? That's someone who has my course that is It's Behind the Blooms, or are you a regular? I just always like to see who's all here. New. Oh my gosh, so many new people. Hi guys, yay. This is exciting. Well, let me just do a really quick introduction. I'm Jessica Zimmerman. I'm the founder of Zimmerman Events, which is a top wedding planning and floral design company, and it's located in Arkansas. A few years ago, my husband got very, very ill, and when I unexpectedly had to support a family of 5, I had to turn my wedding hobby into a business pretty much overnight. So in the process, I kind of cracked the code on what makes a sustainable and profitable wedding business. And I've always been very interested in business, so it's really fun to kind of now have it all put together and be able to do it. And I now have nearly a decade of experience in the industry, but one of my very, very favorite things to do is not necessarily all the weddings, but it is sharing what I've learned with you guys. So hello, I'm so excited y'all are here. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. Also, I just want to say that I totally get it. I don't know how many of you have been watching webinars lately. I've watched a few, and I feel like they're just slimy and salesy, and I feel like my time has been wasted. And I know if you have been following me for any amount of time, then you know how precious my time is to me. So I promise you, I am not going to waste yours. Now, I'm also a big believer in being really honest. So I do want to tell you that I do have something to sell at the end, but don't you worry, because we're going to talk about that at the end. But also, you are not going to leave here today without step-by-step information on today's class. We're not going to just like go all around. You're going to walk away with tangible information. So with that said, let's get started. Okay. Let me get my little slide out, and we're going to make this happen. Okay. Can everybody see? Hopefully so. Kelly, you just like holler at me if y'all can't see it. Usually I'm like, text me, but she's here today, so that's exciting. Okay, so today we're going to talk about never letting a client get away. Can you hear it? Can you see it? Did you say you could? I don't know. We're going to talk about never letting a client get away and how I make sure wedding inquiries turn into real jobs every single time. So let's get started. Okay, so no matter how anyone finds you, right? Whether it's social media or personal referral or an ad in a magazine or whatever, chances are 9 times out of 10, they are going to end up going to your website. Okay, now let's just take a minute, and I want to pull up my website so you can see it. This is the area that I really think a lot of wedding pros or people in the wedding industry are neglecting. And they're spending all of their time on social media, which that's fine, but social media really, when you do the numbers and you really do the research, which I've done, I mean, 2% of your following is seeing that. And so I just really am a big believer that social media, it should be a platform that drives people to your website, and that your website is really what your main focus should be, okay? I'm a big believer in SEO, and that's search engine optimization. I'm going to say that, not because I think anyone's dumb out there, but because I didn't know what it stood for like a year ago, so I'm just going to put that out there. But it's so important. That is how people find me. I mean, they research Wedding Planner South, Wedding Planner Arkansas, and I'm going to be one of the first ones that pops up. So it's just, your website's really important. So what happens is a prospective client, no matter where they found me, 9 times out of 10 is going to get to my website. And we know this because the only way that they can contact me is by filling out the contact form on my website, okay? So my website is very important. So they're going to come here, they're going to go to weddings, and right off the bat, okay, so what your website should be doing is it should be answering a lot of questions for you. How many? And give me like, I don't really think we can do emojis in the chat room, but if we could, I'd be like, yeah, Jessica. But anyway, you can just be like, heck yeah. But how many of you have gotten emails before and it seems like the inquiries are asking you these same questions over and over again, and you just want to go like find a butter knife and, you know, stick it in your hand because you're so tired of answering the same questions over and over again. That is why your website is so important, and you need to really think about the questions you're asked over and over again and how you can answer those through your website. So one of the things that I like to do is right off the bat, establish what I'm doing and what my credibility is, okay? So right off the bat, and let me just preface this really quickly by saying that 4 years ago, my website did not look like this, okay? A lot has happened to me in 4 or 5 years. But at the very beginning, I kind of did what I could. And I understand that not all of your websites, maybe you're just starting out, maybe you don't have the pictures that you want yet. And I can share with you all kinds of tips on how to make that work, because I certainly did at the beginning. But right now I am actually at a point where I have some of this, and so I'm going to show it to you, but I want you to know that there's ways to make this really work even if you aren't super established, okay? But right off the bat, I'm telling people exactly who I'm looking for, okay? I want people to know the person, the bride-to-be who is on my website, to get an idea real quickly if she and I are going to be a good fit or not. So I say here, our primary joy is serving you so you can live presently throughout your engagement. Okay, basically what I'm saying is I need you to care about your engagement and let me deal with your wedding. I definitely want your opinion and your input and all this stuff, but this is my lane. Like, I know what I'm doing. And so I really do look for people who want to be present in their engagement, and they want a beautiful wedding, but they're not so stuck on needing to make every single decision. But as you can see, I've set myself up with establishing credibility. Right here, we have some past work, quotes from a bride, and then I want them to get a sense of who I am. I mean, if we're going to do their wedding, then we're going to be spending a lot of time together. And so I tried to write the copy for this page much like I would if I was talking to them. So I put, hiring someone to plan and design such a special day is a big deal. You should probably see if you like us first. So they click there, they read more, they can read about me, they can schedule an appointment right there if they want to. If they already know they want to, they can do that, or they can read a little more. I strategically have a picture of my family on here because I want them to know that I'm a mother, that I'm a wife, and that they are my top priority. That's why I say that right there. They are my all. That is also strategically telling this potential client, I'm not going to be answering a text message at 11 p.m. Okay, I have kids, I have a husband, I have a life. This is my job, and I'm really good at it, and I'm able to support these people, but I'm not going to be answering your text message at 11 p.m. Can I get an amen on that? Okay, so again, we have this. Now, this is a wedding we actually had, that we had the opportunity to do. It was almost a year ago, 10 months ago. This is a big one. I mean, especially here in the South. This is Miss Arkansas, from the Miss Arkansas pageant, and a country music singer from Dan and Shay. So we have this here because they're hot in the South right now and everything. So once again, we want people to know, like, hey, I know what I'm doing. But once again, I did not have anything like this a few years ago, and there are ways to make this work. If you don't have that, there's my beautiful team members, another quote from another bride, and then what we do. We're best known for our floral design work, but we actually do much more. Take a look, and they can read more about this. And I love that this says this. For those who want a gorgeous wedding but don't care to make every little decision. That's the kind of bride I want. Here's a video. I'll show you a little bit of that in a minute. And this just really kind of says everything that I need to say. I love this actually was, when I was first started working on it, I thought it was going to be the hardest thing for me to write, but when I just started writing it, it was really easy. And I'm just going to read you a little bit of it. But it says, my goal for each of my clients is for you to be present during your engagement, not stress out about every little detail. You'll learn real quick that I'm really honest with my clients, so let's just start now. I'm going to give it to you straight. My team knows what we're doing. We're really good at what we do. Whether you're finishing up your master's degree, focusing on your career, family, and friends, chances are you have a lot on your plate. My guess is that you want a gorgeous wedding, one that isn't like everyone else's, but one that no one has ever seen before. Only problem is you don't really have the time to make all those little detailed decisions. We do. We make those decisions every single day for our clients. The visual outcome of our work speaks for itself. We've caught the eye of national publications like People and Southern Living. Okay, I talk to them very directly, as if it's almost as, we're good. I don't have to have your business. I'd like it. But this, you're going to get an established business that knows what we're doing here, versus, and again, this hasn't been this way for that many years. Okay. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But what I'm trying to say to them is, like, it's almost setting them up for them to know this is more going to be me picking them than them picking me. Okay. So if they read all this, now a lot of people will just go straight to the schedule an appointment and do that. But so let's just go on to the contact page. So they go to the contact page, and this is the only way that they can contact me. We do not have a phone number on here. We don't have an address. We don't have, we're by appointment only. I'm at the studio all the time, but the doors are locked. I mean, we only open them if I have an appointment. Right here off the bat, it lets them know that they need to fill this out. It's short, sweet, to the point. They have to answer all of those questions or it won't submit to me. And then it tells them very clearly, please allow 48 to 72 business hours for us to get back with you. And our business hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4:30. And so what we do there is we are establishing expectations. We're setting clear expectations for our potential client. And one of the reasons why we have 48 to 72 business hours in there is because our goal is to get a response to them within 24. So then when we respond to them within 24, rather than the expected 48 to 72, we've already exceeded their expectations. We've already under-promised and over-delivered. So it's just setting everything up really well. Okay, are y'all with me? Okay, let's go back here for a second. So they fill that out, and then what they do is, as soon as they fill it out, it pops up a thank you that once again reminds them, hey, your email's been submitted, and we'll be back with you in 48 to 72 business hours. So we've now established that twice. Okay, so we then receive the email. So this is what we receive. Rebecca Smith, we have her email address, we have the date, we have her budget, and she is just telling us a little bit about her wedding. So what I do with this initial information is I'm looking for a couple of things. First of all, there's a lot of information I need to know before I know if I want to work with them or not. But what we've learned is that if you have a whole lot of fields on a contact form, people don't want to take the time to fill that out. It's like for every field you have, you lose, I don't know how many people, it's a lot. So we have the 4, and then there's an option if they want to send us a message. But I need to know this right here for a couple of things right off the bat. I need to know who this is, because I do not work with friends or family or people that I like kind of know. And the reason for that is lengthy, but to make a long story short, when I'm a friend or a family member, I want to go as a guest. I don't want the pressure of putting all of that on. So we're able to kindly, you know, we have a special email just that we send for those types of people. But also the date. I don't want to waste these people's time of filling out all this information if we're already booked or if I'm, you know, marked on the calendar to be on vacation or whatever. So let's just make them fill out as little as possible where we can kind of go, how do we want to move forward? So if I looked at this and said, you know what, I know Rebecca, and she's a friend of my mom's. Her mom is a friend of my mom's, and I just don't want to be involved in all that, or I don't know, whatever. If she was a really good friend or whatever, and I just did not want to do this, then what we would do is we would send a decline email. Okay, here's our decline email. It's very, you know, to the point. Thank you so much for reaching out. Terribly sorry, both Jessica and our second designer are booked for your date. We can offer you some other, you know, vendors that we know. We know it'll be gorgeous. Sorry we can't help out. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And that's from Kelly. So that's if we need to decline it. If we think maybe we want this wedding or we definitely want this wedding, then we do our next steps one, which is we need to know more. So this is the email that I believe is setting me apart from all the other vendors, okay? So you have to think about it this way. If a bride is, she's got a shiny new ring on her hand and she is Googling all of these wedding planners or Googling all of these floral designers or Googling all of these photographers or whatever, that's on her mind right then. So she may have reached out to 4 or 5 or 6 vendors, right? What am I gonna do that's gonna put me apart, make me stand out in comparison to all the other people that she reached out to? This email is the answer. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much for taking the time to fill out our bridal contact form, and congratulations on your upcoming wedding. If you would like a better idea of everything we can do to assist with your wedding, you can click here. Okay, now let me show you what happens when she clicks there. Again, it said, if you want a better idea of what we do, and then we also have this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you. I'm just going to play a couple minutes so you can get an idea. Like 10 seconds so you can get an idea. I've done a lot of weddings, and what I have come to realize is the most beautiful weddings are the ones that are most authentic to the couple. And I feel like that's what we at Zimmerman do really, really well. I'm Jessica Zimmerman, and I'm the owner of Zimmerman. Okay, so basically, are y'all still there? Hey. That was more than 10 seconds. But what then happens is you get a behind the scenes look, start to finish of a wedding, okay? And again, we didn't have that kind of video 3 or 4 years ago, but what we've learned now is people are responding much more to video. And we do that honestly because I was getting tired of explaining over and over again why a wedding costs what it costs. People were wanting hanging installations and all of this stuff. And I was like, they just don't know the work that goes into it. Like, they don't understand that if we have 4 boxes of flowers, that it takes all day to get those cut in and processed and in the fridge and all of this. And they really need to see that. And so for me, that it was worth the investment of having that video made during a wedding. I just hired a videographer to come and just shoot that week behind the scenes. and make that, and with the full intention of sending that to prospective clients. And I feel like what that does is two things. I feel like it shows them, okay, this is a little more work than I thought it was going to be. This is probably going to cost a little more money than I thought it was going to. But at the same time, man, they're good. Like, this is going to be worth it. You know what I mean? So I think what it's doing is it's helping them set a realistic expectation, because the truth is the majority of people who I meet with have never done this before. They've never planned a wedding before. And so this is their first time, and they don't know what to do. And they just want someone to hold their hand and lead them through it, okay? It's kind of like, this is why I think this email is so important, and why it is such a huge reason why we have 100%, return rate on these emails, is because we, out of everyone that they send an email to, we look the most professional. We look the most like the expert. If you are going to get a root canal at a dentist and they give off the impression that this is going to be like their first or second time doing this, you are not going to want to do that. You are going to run for the hills, never contact that person again. You're going to go find another dentist that knows what he's doing, okay? It's the same with this. A wedding, no matter what their budget is, if their budget is $1,000 or if it's $100,000, no matter what their budget is, the amount of money that they're spending on this wedding is a lot of money, okay? It's all subjective, but if this person is spending $1,000, that $1,000 is a lot of money to this person. Everyone splurges on their wedding. They're spending more than they normally would, right? So whether they have a smaller budget or a larger budget, that doesn't matter. It's still a lot of money to the person, okay? And so they want to hire the expert. Okay, so let's go on with the email. If not, I encourage you to read over the page and watch the video to give you a full idea of what we do. I have also attached our 2018 Services Media Kit to this email for you to look over. Once again, these are clickable for the client or for the prospective client to look at. Here's the thing about media kits. Raise your hand or give me like a, oh yeah, if you know what a media kit is, and tell me no if you have no idea what it is, because I think it's so interesting. And by the way, I didn't know what it was a few years ago either, but so many people don't know what this is. And they're like, what's a media kit? What's a media kit? Well, let me show you what that is. So they click on that link and it takes them here, okay? This is our 2018 Media Kit. What it's doing is it's showing our services, our 2018 services. So once again, we look super professional. No one else that they've reached out to is maybe sending a media kit. And if you need help making these, we help people make these. You just reach out to us, Kelly@ZimmermanEvents.com. But it's very simple. It's like, we do wedding flowers, we have full service, and we have a la carte. We do month of coordination. There they are. We do full wedding planning. There it is. We do paper and calligraphy. There you go. And then here's our contact information. So as you can see, it's not that it's like mind-blowing stuff. It's very simple. Most of what I teach is very simple. It's not necessarily easy. There's a difference. It takes a little bit of time to make this and to come up with the copy that you want to say, but it's simple. It's concise. It lets them once again see exactly what it is you do, and it lets them see how professional you are, okay? There is something about setting yourself up and pre-planning, okay? If you can plan well enough to where you can respond to potential clients via email, well, if you can plan well enough, they are already seeing an example of your work just through this email. They're like, man, they're prepared. They're professional. This looks good. I like their branding, or whatever it is. You've set yourself apart. You look professional. These people are now going to trust you that you can help them and you can lead them through this very expensive, whether it's $1,000 or $100,000, it's expensive to them, this very expensive journey, okay, of planning this very special day. So Now let's go back to our, sorry, we just keep going back and forth, but okay, so then we read a little bit more. It says in here, before we set up our consultation meeting, we need you to answer the following questions for us. We need to know, and these are all the things which 3 years ago, I had all of these things on that original contact form. Isn't that crazy? Like now I look at that and think that's crazy. But now that's why I brought it down to just 4, because I want people to actually fill it out. And when it had this many, we weren't getting as many inquiries. And I was like, oh, well, that's why they're seeing all of that and thinking, no, thank you. But we have to get the information, but they're more likely to fill out this information because they've seen how professional we are and how good our work is, right? And then we say, if we are available for your wedding. And I love that because it lets them know, listen, we have other weddings. You're not the only one. And it almost makes them want us more. Okay? If we are available for your wedding, we can go over everything more in detail at that time. But we need these answered before we set up our consultation. Please do not hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. Thank you again for filling out the form, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Then what happens almost 100% of the time is we receive an email with the answered questions. You can see here, she just answered the questions and says, we're so excited to set up a consultation, which is normally how it goes. Sometimes people will immediately say, I want to meet on this date at this time, but that's what this next email is all about. Then we send this to them. It says, hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much for answering all those questions for me. The vision for your wedding is gorgeous. We love when a bride steps out of the neutral color palette and wants to add pops of colors on her big day. Now, listen, we have email templates for everything. And in our document where we keep all of them, that first paragraph, the second and third sentence of the first paragraph, along with her name, is highlighted a different color. So when we copy and paste that template in, we know we've got a couple of areas we need to customize to them so that for them it feels like it's a totally custom to them email. But we use templates that we have pre-written because it saves us so much time. And really, at the end of the day, you've got to be really efficient and set up your business systems that sets you up for profitability and success and all of that. And email templates are a huge one for us. We can talk more about those in a minute. But it says for our first consultation, we are available most of the week of February 5th. You can schedule your appointment by following this link. We do require a consultation fee, which you can pay for here. So once again, 2 really simple links. Let me share those with you. So the very first one is the client appointment. So I go through every month and I put in my availability. And so what this does, and this is such a huge game changer. Once again, I think it just shows professionalism. And the second thing it does is it cuts down on the time of going back and forth of, can you meet on this day? No, I can't. How about this one? Not available. You know, it cuts down on all that. And they're able to just see very clearly. If they want to meet us in September, hey, here's the availability. On the 19th, I've got a 10 a.m. and a noon spot. That's all I've got. So they're going to have to select one of these, okay, and fill it all in to set their appointment. This also stops all of the, can you meet me on Sunday? I have to work or I have school. Can you meet me at night? No, I have a family and I work until 3 o'clock every day. And then I go pick up my kids from school and then I'm with my kids. So you need to maybe take off an hour of your work or whatever if you want to come meet with me. I don't know why I'm making so many references to a dentist. I don't know if I missed an appointment or what it is, but same thing with the dentist. You're not calling them and saying, can you meet me on Sunday night? No, that's a legitimate business and that they have legitimate business hours. And guess what? So should you. And you got to start treating yourself like that, right? You're a legitimate business. You have to treat yourself like that. So they fill this out. They make their appointment, and then they click the other link that says the wedding consultation fee. Now, this year our wedding consultation fee is $100. It started out, I think, at $20, and just over the years we have bumped it up. The first, I think, 2 years that I was in business, I didn't have one at all. And what I found is that people wanted to meet with me. They wanted me to do this design, and they just took all my ideas, and they, never had any intention of booking me. And I found that by having a consultation fee, even if it was just $20, that really helped separate that. It really kind of took the people that just wanted to steal my ideas, and I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but they wanted to just get good ideas. Because I think it's really innocent. I think a lot of people genuinely are like, I'll just go and get ideas, and but what they don't realize is the amount of time that we're doing, right, and that we're spending on it. So I found that just by putting a little bit of a consultation fee in there, it helped kind of resolve that problem. And then as we have kind of grown throughout the past 3 or 4 years, we've been able to, up our consultation fee a little bit more. And what it really does for me now is it makes me feel like if I meet with them for an hour and I realize, or 2, and I realize that we're actually not a good fit at our first meeting, then I haven't I made a little bit. I made $100. You know what I mean? So it is important. It really is important to factor in your time on things. So not only does this allow them to pay for their consultation fee, but right here, this was another thing that I was tired of explaining from scratch every single time somebody wanted to meet with us, how our meeting process was handled. Okay, so I said, you know what? We're going to put it all on the page with the consultation fee. They can read it, and then they'll understand, and then we're not having to do another email or another explanation. Okay, so it tells them right here, and this is for wedding planning and floral, how we do that. So it explains how the meetings work and what happens at each one and all of that, and then they pay their fee right there. Okay. So then it says, please do not hesitate to let me know if you have questions. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Okay, well, that's the end of that slide. Let me move back over to y'all. Okay, hi. Can y'all see me? I can see y'all. So I see questions in the chat box. Hope Kelly is getting to all of those for you. We'll do Q&A at the end too, for sure. So I do my meetings in person, okay? And at the very least, I do them on a Google Hangout, okay? Which is, it's like a Skype call or whatever. The reason why I do that is that's how I land the sale, okay? So I always say that the thing about that, everybody seems to get ghosted, right? By people. Somebody emails and they say, can you give me pricing on this? And then people are sending pricing. I'm never going to send my pricing ever, because you're always going to be able to find someone who can do it for less, always. The way that you make money in this business is through relationships. And you have to develop that relationship, and you have to create that relationship. And so it's just, you can be the best floral designer in the world or the best wedding planner or whatever, but you can't touch a flower until you make the sale, okay? And when I decide if I want to meet with that person or not, and then they do all those emails and we set up that consultation and they are in front of us for the past 3 years, 3 solid years, I have booked 100% of the people that I wanted to book who came in this room and met with me. 3 years, 100%. That's pretty good average right there. So once I get them in here, I have a step-by-step process that I do. It's a sales process. Now, what is the step-by-step process? First of all, I just want to say that concludes the whole, we're going to do a live Q&A and everything, but that is really important. Are any of you like, oh my gosh, That's crazy. Never thought. And there is some setup involved. There is some pre-planning, and you don't have to have all of it perfect right away. Just take one at a time. Be like, you know what? I'm going to get my website looking good. Or you know what? I'm going to set up my contact form. Or I'm going to write my email templates. Or just, make one thing a month that you're going to get done. And then in 6 months, you're going to have a flawless system that just works, okay? Building a big, profitable, sustainable business, it doesn't happen overnight, but it can happen much sooner than you think, as long as you just get going on these steps and you don't become so overwhelmed by it, okay? So I have one more thing I want to show you, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a live Q&A about all of this, okay? So my step-by-step process for sales that, once again, we book 100% the last 3 years. It is in chapter 3 of my course, The Business Behind the Blooms. Again, you can be the best florist in the world or the best wedding planner in the world, but if you can't make the sale, then you don't get to do the work, right? People who have bought The Business Behind the Blooms say that chapter 3 is worth the price of the course alone. They say it has given them so much confidence. I have a student who last year bought the course. We only open it for enrollment once a year. Last year she bought it and she wasn't doing but about $20,000 worth of sales. And now she's doing 6 figures worth of sales. Isn't that incredible? Like, it's incredible. The sales process is huge. Chapter 3 is amazing. And we get the most feedback about chapter 3, which is that sales process, because you can't do anything else in the business until you land the sale. So I'd like to show you one quick video, and then I want to come back here and I want to do a live Q&A with you guys. Okay? Is that okay? Here's my sales pitch, but hopefully it's not sleazy and slimy. Hopefully it's okay. What if you could bring home 6 figures a year with your wedding business? Hi, I'm Jessica Zimmerman, and in just a few short years, that's exactly what I did. When I unexpectedly had to support a family of 5, I had to turn my hobby into a business practically overnight. In the process, I cracked the code on how to build a profitable wedding and event business. If you're losing money every month, if you can't book clients to save your life, or if you feel totally clueless when it comes to the business side of your business, you're not alone.
Before reading Business Behind the Blooms, I think my business was kind of a little bit aimless.
I was stressed out, kind of all over the place.
A downward spiral of losing all the money.
I would meet with them. I wasn't able to convert them. I wasn't making money. I didn't have all the answers.
I feel like I was so lost.
I didn't know what to do, what to charge, what prices. I didn't really know my worth.
Where was it headed? It wasn't really headed anywhere.
I wasn't booking any clients over $3,000, working way too much, wearing myself down.
And it was wearing me out to the point where I almost felt defeated.
After reading Business Behind the Blooms,
We understand what we're doing, breathe new life
into my business.
I'm running the show now instead of my clients running the show. Just booked my first client right under $10,000.
The confidence it's given me when dealing with clients.
Actually booked one of my dream weddings for me. It was at the venue I've always wanted to have a wedding at.
I'm doing destination weddings.
I'm booking big weddings.
I get more time with my family.
I don't feel lost when they start asking me questions about pricing. I feel like I actually know what I'm talking about.
I've taken several courses, and Business Behind the Blooms is so different from the rest.
Now I feel like I don't have to buy anything else.
She gives real data.
I learned everything that I needed to know from the first chapter to the last chapter.
I saw a return almost immediately.
I literally saw a return in less than a week.
It's worth every penny. Just go for it.
After Business Behind the Blooms, everything changed. It changed my life.
It is the best course that I've ever purchased. If you want to run a solid, profitable business, you need to learn from the people that have been there, made the mistakes, and actually can show the growth of their business.
Business Behind the Blooms teaches you everything step by step you need to know. It's going to change your life. I guarantee you.
Was it worth it? 1,000 times, yeah.
These people were all exactly where you are. And everything you've heard here could be yours too. I can help you build your dream business, but it's up to you to take the first step. It's time to invest in you and your business. It's time to turn your passion into profit. It's time to learn the business behind the blooms. Are you ready? All right. Okay. I think I'm coming back to you now. Okay, hi. Can everybody see me? Okay, good. So that is my course, and it's called The Business Behind the Blooms. And just like, and I'm going to get to your questions here in just a second, but just how I was today, and it's like, hey, here this is. Like, this is exactly how you do it. This is why you do it. And the other thing that I do in the course that I think is really helpful is I show you how I got there. So like at first I didn't have the budget to do a video, so what I did instead. Or I didn't have the budget to rebrand my business, so here's what I did. Like on my shoestring budget, how I got there and grew this business into a multi-six-figure business from wedding sales, not course sales, wedding sales, okay? How I did that in just a few years. And to be honest, I firmly believe with all my heart that I went through all of that. I think that my husband got sick and all of these things, and I was kind of forced into this position so that I could kind of pull the curtain back and share the things that I think this industry is typically so tight-lipped about, okay? I feel like I could never get straight answers. It was always weaving around it. They're going to kind of tell you, but not really, where I just tell you. I don't have anything to hide. I tell you pay structures. I tell you exactly what I charge for things. I mean, everything. So there you go. There's my sales pitch. It is on. It is the enrollment is open today, September 10th through Friday, September 14th, and then it does not reopen again for an entire year. So if you want to get it, if you want to get in and hang out with me, and we're going to do like webinars like this with just the bloomer community and stuff, it's really great. If you want to do that, then get in, because we're not going to open it again for a year. Okay, let me go over to the control panel and let me answer some questions. Start at the bottom, Kelly.
Yes, you do.
How do you sell yourself to a potential bride when you don't have much experience? You may not have much experience in wedding planning or in floral design or whatever it is that you might do, but you do have experience, okay? I have helped people when, they're just starting out on their website. How many of you here are like a dreamer who is like, I don't have my business yet, but I really want to, because there's a lot of people, and kudos to you for being here today, because it's so important to like get started on the right foot. My gosh, I wish I had done that because I messed up a lot. But anyway, so what you do is you have experience in something, and I was mentoring someone last year. I'm not able to do a ton of mentoring as much anymore, which is why we created the Business Behind the Blooms to allow more people to have that knowledge. But I think it was last year, and I said, all you have to do is start to give yourself credibility. And that you may not have to have somebody who says, she did my wedding and it was beautiful, but maybe you've helped with a friend's baby shower, or maybe you've helped with something like an event in your town or at your church, or I don't know, something. And you can get a quote or a testimony from someone like that. When I first started, I got testimonies. I didn't really have any from brides. I got them from other people. I got them from a person that I worked at the chamber with. I got them from a store owner that I had bought clothes from or something. And just, she wrote something about my, just my personality and that kind of thing. So you start where you can, okay? You cannot compare your 0-year journey or your 5-year journey to my almost 10-year journey, okay? Which is almost impossible to do these days with social media. I mean, it's so easy to just compare, but it's going to happen, and it happens faster than you think when you are putting the right tools and systems into place, okay? But just start where you can, and you don't have to say, listen, I'm not saying lie to anybody. I don't think you should do that, but you don't have to say to them, you know, I've never done a wedding before. Like, no, don't say that. You want to set yourself up and say, I have done events, even if you've invited people over to your house for dinner. It's an event. Did you set it up nice and have some place cards or something? You know what I mean? Give yourself credit. If you know that you can do this and you believe in yourself, that's half the battle. Half of the battle is confidence. And everyone gets so stuck on, but what if I can't? But what if I can't? What if I haven't? What if I haven't? What have you done? What do you have that you can offer? Okay. When you're an individual small business, is it okay to write the email in first person if I'm available, or would you still write if we're not available? That is a great question. Okay, so here's what I would do. And I talk about this a little bit in the Business Behind the Balloons. Well, I talk about it a lot. But so many of you are a one-man show. And I know what that's like too, and it's hard. And here's what I've found. When I meet with a client, whether it's in person or it's over Skype or whatever, I'm the fun one, right? Like, I am the one who is giving them the design and all of this stuff. And like, they need to have someone that they feel really comfortable, you know, talking about and getting excited with, okay? And I'm that person. Now, Kelly is more of the hammer, okay? So she is the admin person, and she sends these emails and everything. And she's the one who's able to, you know, say things like, hey, before we can meet with you tomorrow, we need this invoice paid or whatever. And and she understands that. That's her role. Now, if Kelly wasn't here, I don't know what I'd do. No, if Kelly wasn't here, what I would do is, and it was just me, I would set up a separate email account that just, it probably would have my middle name. It would probably say Paige at ZimmermanEvents.com. And then I would just make sure anything, when I am talking to the person, then I can talk and be fun, and we can get excited about your wedding. But anything that's going to be done via email is going to be done through Paige. And I would just say, you're going to email Paige at ZimmermanEvents.com, and they'll take care of correspondence. And then you can use the words we and things like that if you want to, or whatever. But I don't do that to be deceptive. I do that because I think it makes everybody happier. I actually told a client this one time, and she said, I think that's genius. Because she asked me straight out, she goes, what would you do if you didn't have Kelly? And I told her this whole scenario, and she goes, you know, I think that's really genius because it's so true. Like, I feel like I can totally go to that email, and I can just, because they don't meet Kelly until the wedding day. So they don't, you know, they've never even met her. They go, but I feel like I'm going to that email. That email is where I'm talking about business, and we're getting the invoices done, and we're getting contracts signed or whatever. And then I come to you and we talk about, you know, other things. And so for them, I think it would be, she even said to me, it would be really hard if I had to come in here and like talk about all this stuff. So, I would probably just say we, because we the company. And if you're planning on building your team at all, then we the company. I'm sure you have people that help you. If you have a boyfriend or husband or mom or dad that might pitch in, or a friend. So I don't think there's anything wrong with using the word we, but I do think that you just need to use whatever you feel most comfortable doing, okay? And if you feel more comfortable saying I, if it really is only you, then by all means say I. I just think it sets up a better relationship between you and the client if they can email a separate person or a separate account and then talk to you. Do you include your cost into their budget or budget in your pricing? I don't really understand the question. Do you understand it, Kelly? Do you include your? Okay. Carolyn, can you re-ask your question? Because I'm not fully understanding it and I do want to answer it for you. About how many people are in the course each section, trying to figure out how many folks will be in on the webinars. It varies, but I will say we definitely have people who are all around the world, and so we definitely don't always have everyone live. We have 4 live webinars, and they're going to be staggered at different times. Each one will be a different time, and so it really does feel intimate. It really feels intimate. We have the Bloomer Forum, which is super intimate, and yeah, so you're totally able, you have full access to us. So we respond to you, we email you if you have questions. You can set up a mentoring call with me. My mentoring, like one-on-one coaching is just for bloomers. And yeah, the webinars are really good. People, and not everyone asks questions. So, okay, let me ask a couple more, or let me get a couple more. Will the course apply to any wedding business? I'm a makeup artist. Yes, so we've had all kinds of people purchase the course. Now I'm a floral designer and a wedding planner, so it is written from my perspective, but we've had caterers, venue owners, calligraphers, photographers, jewelry designers, fashion designers. We've had all these people purchase the course, and while not every single chapter is applicable to their business, they have emailed us and let us know that the systems that I teach that they have then set up in their own business have been game changing. So, but once again, it is written from my perspective, from my business, but a lot of the business principles you can apply to any business. Are the clipboards on your wall current clients? Just wondering if you keep your stuff digital or have some stuff printed. So yes, these are my clients. I print stuff when they're here in front of me. I think I don't email anything because I don't want that to get passed on to anyone else. So we print things here. Now, if they live somewhere else and we need to email it, that's one thing, but we do try to do as much as we can in person. But yeah, that's always the latest stuff. So that's going to have, as soon as we book a wedding, I immediately, even if it's a year out, hire my contract labor and have them sign their contracts. They're up there. Any new thing that we discuss gets put in there. So that is always the latest, most up-to-date information, so that if I get an email or need to look at something, I can just take their clipboard off and see where we are on things. How do you not scare people off by pricing? I think what you're asking me is by not pricing? Is that what you're asking me? I find that, people, once again, they don't know what to expect, and that I am going to lead them through this process. And I find that I need to get them in here because I need to explain to them how much all of this is. I need to kind of educate them on this. And my goal is not to break anyone's bank. My goal is, I don't want anyone to go into debt, but we need to have an honest conversation about your budget so that I can honestly tell you if it's realistic or not. So I find that my clients, the reason why they refer me is not because of the beautiful job we do. It's because, and I've been told this time and time again, because of my upfront, honest candor with them. I just am a straight shooter with them and just tell them the truth. And I think that they really appreciate that. Will you be certified in wedding planning? I didn't know. I mean, you'll know all you need to know to have a wedding planning business. I have a chapter in there about education, and I'll just very briefly tell you that for me, I mean, I am not a certified wedding planner, and I'm a very successful wedding planner. So I think you choose to put your money, your education investment where you want to put it. I have chosen to put it into business principles and business practices with expert marketers and consultants and one-on-one coaching with some of the best in the industry in order to learn what I need to learn to have a profitable business that's going to support my family of 5, okay? I don't really care about a piece of paper that says certified on it. I compare it to Wolfgang Puck, who is a trained chef, and Rachel Ray, who is not a trained chef. They both can be looking at the same recipe, and he may chop up an herb a lot fancier than she does, but they're both going to get in the dish, and both dishes are going to taste delicious, okay? It's about the end product to me, and really more than anything, the experience for the client than it is about me having a specific certification or whatever. But at the same time, I think people who choose to do that's great. It's just, for me, I mean, it's kind of a lot like choosing to do formula or breast milk. I mean, it's just a choice, and I don't judge anyone either way. I think you just have to do what works best for you. Let's see. I think this question was about client ghosting after gaining their attention. I would reach back out to them. I mean, like I said, sometimes it's very, very, very rare, but I mean, sometimes we do have to send another email that's just, and we'll usually say something like, hey, we are receiving more inquiries. We know that your date is September 14th, and we've been receiving more inquiries, and are you still interested? And that usually will get a response. But for the most part, we definitely get responses. So I think if you start to change the way you immediately respond or how they're finding you or their contact, you'll start to see a difference. For your couple's budget, let's just say $50,000. Would you include your price within their budget? $50K, your cost there. Okay, so I see what you're saying. So what we do, and again, this is all really broken down in BBB, and I can't really tell a whole lot because I want to be fair to the people who have invested in it, but every single thing that we do is custom, and every single thing that we do is going to be individually done per client, but I definitely have a process. I know how to price. I know what I have to spend and what needs to go in my bank account in order to make my business grow and run. And so I'm going to price in order to make that happen. And then some things are charged differently. Wedding planning is done. I have some things that are done on an hourly rate. I have some things that are done. There's 3 different ways. Floral design is priced one way. Wedding planning is priced one way. And delivery and setup is priced one way. And so that way, when I'm doing a proposal for them, I can show them the different sections and they can see that. And we are very, like I said, very honest about that. We let them know that this is why this costs so much, or this is what all you're getting for this, like with setup and delivery. That I think setup and delivery is the one area that I think most wedding pros are losing me. And I think we do really well with that. We have created a spreadsheet that calculates setup and delivery for profit. That spreadsheet is in BBB, but it's different. And I break all of that down for you in the course, and I'm sorry that I can't really go into more detail about that. I just want to be really fair about that. Yes, rental decor. Leslie, we offer florals, but specialize in rental decor. So when I first bought this business, it was a rental business. So yes, I discuss rentals and all of that stuff in the course. So Debbie, good question. The resource hub is no longer going to be available. We are just going to be doing BBB, and we are going to use some of the resource hub items as freebies for my newsletter list every now and then. But because what was in the resource hub is in BBB, we're going to keep that locked in BBB. Do you set cost expectations for clients? I like to hear from them what all they're wanting, and then have a really honest conversation. Who is actually paying? That's what I need to talk to. And we just have an honest conversation about it. And sometimes what happens is they go, you know what, there's no way we're going to be able to do that hanging installation. And sometimes what they say is something like, you know, instead of a full bar, we're just going to serve wine and beer because we're going to put more money so we can get that hanging installation or whatever. But they don't know these things until you educate them about it. And so that's what we do. Okay, guys, it is 7 o'clock, and I do not want to keep y'all any longer than an hour because I do not want to waste your time. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your question. If you go to ZimmermanEvents.com, you can go, if you just Google ZimmermanEvents.com, ask me anything, or maybe Kelly can put the link in the chat. Then you can ask us your question and we will email you an answer, okay? Like I said, the Business Behind the Blooms is only open once a year. Enrollment opened today and it closes on Friday. And so it's only open for 5 days, won't reopen again until next year. If you are really interested in your wedding business being a real business and learning the business side of your business and making money and becoming profitable and being able to take home a salary and help with your family and all of these things, then I really hope that you'll consider it, and I hope that you'll join us, okay? Y'all have a great day. Thank you so, so much for joining me this evening, and y'all, I hope to see you in there. Okay, bye, guys.